Welcome to another episode of CEO Talks, a series where we feature members from our Together tribe. For this episode, we have with us Mr. Mitul Mehta, co-founder of Streak. Welcome, Mitul.
Hey, pleasure.
So to jump right into it, let's start off by understanding what do you exactly do. So in your own words, tell us what is the company all about and how has the journey been for you so far?
Streak is basically a banking solution for teenagers in India. So what we do is we provide a payment solution for them that they can use on their own under their parents' supervision, of course, and make their own transactions and learn how to be financially independent and learn how to manage their own money from an early stage, especially post the lockdown. Cards are used more frequently by kids also. So we thought, hey, let's provide them cards that they can use instead of cash and start learning how to use a card from early on. So yeah.
How did you come about this idea? Like, what struck inspiration for you for this?
It's not a fancy story, but so right after I shut down my first startup, I was pretty sad that I had to shut it down, and I was about to start my first job. So at that point, I was just going through different ideas, and what I felt was that, of course, financial education is something that is super important. Considering I started earning money and I didn't know what to do with my first check, and I kind of used it up completely. I understood that it's something that is a skill that you should learn. But there's nobody to teach it, and it has to be done in a fun way because most children and adults also learn about money from their parents usually. And that might not be the best way to go about it. So we thought, hey, let's build something that is exciting, that lets them do their own transactions, but at the same time, help them learn about money management and also different aspects of money.
How did you meet your co-founders? Like, what is the journey like for them?
So my co-founders are basically my batchmates from college. So I've known them for almost 8 years now. So one of my co-founders was actually my hostel neighbor. And he was in computer science at that point. I was in electrical. We then in the final year of our college, we decided, let's start something of our own. So that's when we started our first startup and tried to dabble our hands with a startup and try to start a business. After that we shut that down. We moved on to our jobs. But one thing that stuck to us was we had fun working with each other, and it was really exciting to do something new. So we always wanted to start something again, but we were just waiting for the right opportunity, and Streak came along.
All right. And in our conversations prior to this interview, you mentioned that you work with Cred, right?
Yeah.
Did working in Cred in any way sort of nudge you towards the direction of working in fintech?
Yes, and I actually wanted to always do something in fintech, which was one of the reasons what intrigued me about Cred as well, because Cred at that point had just started off and they were doing really well. They still are, and I wanted to work at the best fintech startup that was there, and luckily I got in. It was an amazing experience. I worked there for a short stint, but learned a lot, and that experience has kind of added value to Streak as well in its own ways over time. So it was a fun experience.
What's your specific role in the company? What's your day-to-day look like?
I majorly handle marketing and product. Those are the two things I work on. Considering that I have some kind of a tech background, managing product is somewhat easier. Again, other than that, I don't have a lot of experience with working with other products, but a lot of books and a lot of upskilling on my own has kind of helped over time. Marketing, because that's my past experience and that kind of helps.
I mean, I've heard about edtech in the past and fintech, and what you're doing is essentially an amalgamation of the two.
Yeah.
So are you trying to carve out a new niche of your own?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do actually. But not education in the most literal sense, right? We're trying to mold the practical education side of things and the theoretical, because finance again is like a language, right? There are so many layers to finance. When you try to start learning about it, when it comes to investments, there are so many different aspects of investment and to understand. And similarly with budgeting as well. So there are many aspects, and everyone has to learn their own way of going about it. So we want, which is why with Streak we have started with a more practical sense of learning, and we envision ourselves to involve something theoretical someday. One thing I would say is that we've done a part of it. We have something called a financial literacy championship that we conduct, which is like a financial quiz of sorts, like an Olympiad, and that has got a lot of traction in the last 2 years. That's how actually Streak started, and that's how we got into YC as well. So that has been a side of theoretical education as well for us.
Now that you've mentioned YC, that's going to be my next question.
Yeah.
How was the experience at YC? Were you there physically, or did you were part of the remote batch?
It was a remote batch, but the experience was great. It was a lot of insight, considering the amount of experience that YC brings with their group partners and their mentors. And additionally, again, like, having a batch of other founders kind of going through the same kind of work and the same kind of pressure kind of helps make sense of things at sometimes and put things in perspective. But yeah, it was a great learning experience. It was a short 3-month batch, of course, but it was a fun, what do you call it? It was a fun way of going through something in such a short stint of time, but adding so much value to it.
So, while I was doing my research for this interview and everything, I also came across a lot of other players in the market who were also in the same segment as you,
Yeah.
Akudo and Copper. So, how do you guys differentiate your product from theirs?
So our product right now, how we've built it is basically to go parents first. So what we've understood is that most of our sticky customers and most of our customers that have stayed loyal to our product have come parent first. So basically that means that the children are younger. So we are catching them younger than everyone else, and we are making sure that and because their parents are kind of finding out about our product and then onboarding them, the parents have this level of conviction and also a level of involvement in the whole process with the child, which makes it more fulfilling for the child as well to kind of use the product.
And what would you say are some of the key value that drive Streak's startup strategy?
One thing that we focus on is quality over quantity. That's been our motto since a while now. We've been making sure that the quality of work that we put out, whether it's personally or whether it's with regards to the startup, as always has to be up to a certain benchmark. And we've always kept that intact within the company and making sure that everyone understands that it's not about always putting the most amount of work out there. It's about putting the best work out there.
How's customer feedback? How important is customer feedback, and how do you handle criticism?
Oh, customer feedback is super important, and it comes in different waves, right? It comes in different ways also. Of course, like hearing that the customer loved the product and they love using it is a great thing, but always that always doesn't lead to perfection of the product and doesn't lead to actual growth. So we feel that customer feedback is great in terms of, like, when criticism comes in. It is great to kind of rethink about the decisions that we took at that point of time with the product, or with even certain decisions of how we are marketing to them. And criticism it depends, right? Because we work with kids and children. Criticism comes in very different ways. Sometimes they come in a way where you're not able to make a lot of sense of it, but then when you think about it, you make sense of it. I would say we take it in a way where it helps us build the best product possible for them. Yeah.
In the bigger scheme of things, how do you plan on expanding? What are the next steps for you guys?
Next steps, according to me, at least for Streak, are what we want to do is we want to provide an experience that is unique, considering the kind of target market that we are working with, which is teenagers and children, right? I have, say, a 7 to 8 year age gap between the TG that we serve with our product, but the thinking is so different. It sometimes is shocking. So constantly being in touch with them and learning of what they like, what they don't like, has been key. And which is why we're kind of building an experience that is more catered to them, that they like, that they want to use on a day-to-day basis, and also providing a suite of financial products that their parents can help them learn from early on, like say investments is something that we are focused on. We are right now focused on just building a better product.
Yes, for sure. Because even for me, right, when I was a little kid, while growing up, we never had any products like this to educate us about how do we deal with money and
Yeah.
what we make of it. So I mean, this is a great start towards that.
Yeah.
At least educating the next generation of people who are going to come into the workforce.
Absolutely.
What's been the most difficult decision for you so far?
Most difficult decision. I think every product decision is pretty difficult, considering we have to make sure that we do a lot of product. We make sure that the product decisions that we take are very are thought through, data driven, especially with users. Like of course, constant communication with them. If I don't know what the most difficult decision I've taken actually. Yeah, I would say most of them have been product related. It's been mostly like, should we take the product in that direction or not, or should we, add something or remove something, right? Like, because feedback is relative. It comes in different ways. Every person wants something different, so to make sense of it and at the end of the day take the right decision is kind of difficult. So yeah.
Do you have any hobbies or interests that help you think outside the box?
Yeah, I think I used to game a lot. I still do. I think gaming is a great way to understand how user psychology works, because games are built to make sure that you're continuously playing the game, and you retain constantly, and you play and you want to upgrade the character, want to go to the next level. Yeah, gaming has been a big aspect to how at least I have been thinking when it comes to product, and also the ideas that come in, because I think the game industry is, I think, light years ahead of a lot of industries. So yeah.
So have you used any of the gamification engines, or like have you employed any gamification in your product?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because we are targeting the teenagers, right? Like, and they want products that are cool, that are that they take interest to, and games is a big factor of their child. Well, they are growing up as well, and well, we grew up as well. So yeah, so games have been a super big inspiration with it. The reward system on our app, and products that are to come in the next set of products that we're going to launch. It's all gamification driven. So yeah, a lot of gamification has been employed into the product.
What, according to you, is the most important quality for a founder?
I think it's keeping your calm under the storm, because there's always some fire burning around you. So keeping a calm, collected mind helps in taking the right decision sometimes, or at least taking the right problem to solve at the moment. So yeah, I would say keeping your calm and having a straight mind while you make those crucial decisions.
Are you an early riser or a night owl?
I'm a night owl.
If you can have a dinner party with any 4 people in this world, dead or alive, who would you invite?
Kunal Shah, Ranveer Singh, to have something exciting going on at the party. I would say Drake and my brother.
What's the best business advice you received?
Best business advice. I think it was just because I have so much self-doubt, and it takes some time for me to gather my thoughts and get it right. It's mostly been like, do what your heart says, and make sure that you take decisions keeping others in mind, and what the impact is going to be, and yeah, everything's going to be good.
What do you think I'd be most surprised to find out about you?
That I represented India in a racing competition during college in the US.
What does success mean to you?
I think it's more about fulfilling what I've started on with a streak, and making sure that the impact that we want to deliver isn't delivered.
Okay. And what does failure mean to you?
A lot of learning, and I think it's a lot of also self-reflection.
Any advice to young aspiring entrepreneurs?
I think I'm pretty young to give advice, but yeah, I would say just do what you want to do, as long as you're able to do it in a way where nobody, at least your family, is not impacted by it, and yeah, just learn from every failure and just keep going.
Name one other company and CEO that inspire you, and why?
I think there are two. Cred, of course, because Kunal is amazing. And the other one I would say is Airbnb, Brian Chesky.
How do you start your day?
I start my day nowadays with a workout. I'm not an early riser, so it's very difficult to get out of the bed. So I try.
And what is your childhood dream job?
My childhood dream job. I think it was to become a dancer.
What's your secret sauce?
Secret sauce. I don't know. I think it's just keep doing the things you're doing and make sure you're having fun with it and don't get caught up too much in the past or the future.
Yes, so this brings us to the end of our interview. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes, and I hope our conversation continues.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much.